They are sports brands personified. As recognizable as a team logo, but more interactive. Loved and loathed. Mascots inject a bit of fun into any hockey arena. But who are they? And where did they come from? These are the origin stories of cartoon characters brought to life. As Icethetics presents Mascot Mayhem, a fuzzy history of the NHL. Alright, you guys asked for this one. In a recent video, I mentioned a mascot and casually wondered if a video dedicated to them would be of any interest. And wow, the response was beyond anything I expected. The comments just kept rolling in, so I got to work, researching, writing, and gathering material. What we have now is a 4-part series. A full accounting of the NHL's mascot history, and just in time for the 40th anniversary of the arrival of one of the league's oldest costumed characters. As always, a big thank you to my channel members, with a very special stick tap to the icons. Your support is hugely appreciated. And if you would like to become a member, just tap that blue join button. The Calgary Flames say it all started with him, Harvey the Hound. Developed in 1983, he made his game debut on February 16, 1984, during the Flames' 10-3 rout of the Pittsburgh Penguins. 2 Flames had hat tricks that night. If a mascot is meant to be a lucky charm of sorts, Harvey certainly seemed to be. The blue-eyed, long-tongued gray dog wears a red hat and red shorts. And unlike mascots of today, Harvey was not originally owned by the team. He was pitched, developed, and performed by Grant Kelba in partnership with Glenn Street, founder of Street Characters, a company that today specializes in mascot design and creation. Harvey's most memorable moment came 2 decades into his career, infamously known as the tongue incident. On January 20, 2003, the visiting Edmonton Oilers and head coach Craig McTavish had had quite enough of the fluffy canine's antics and ripped the dangling tongue right out of his mouth. Not one to be kept out of a game with an injury, Harvey quickly returned with a new tongue, which to some might have appeared to be a red scarf. But anyway, 2 weeks later, as mascots from around the league gathered at the NHL All-Star Game, they joined Harvey in solidarity, all hanging over the glass with their own dangling red tongues. And if you think the story ended there, just wait. More to come later in this series. Now, Calgary may claim that Harvey was the NHL's very first mascot, but that's not entirely true. In Detroit, a year before Harvey's arrival, the Red Wings introduced the Winger. Never heard of him? Not surprised. This ambiguous red bird with a big yellow beak never found Harvey's popularity and was therefore rather short-lived, flying off after only a few seasons. The Red Wings never have revisited the idea of a mascot in costume, but that doesn't mean they've been without one completely. Al the Octopus looms high above the ice anytime the team embarks on a quest for Lord Stanley's Cup. The legend of the Octopus dates back to the 1952 playoffs, when the owners of a local fish market flung a dead octopus onto the ice at Olympia Stadium. The idea being, the 8 tentacles of the octopus represented the 8 wins needed to earn the Stanley Cup at that time. That year, the Wings became the first NHL team to win the Cup with a perfect postseason record, and a new tradition was born. Fans have been throwing octopuses onto the ice ever since, and for decades, it was Zamboni driver Al Sabatka who would go out and collect them with his own personal flair. By the 1990s, the Red Wings had adopted the octopus as their official mascot, even naming him after Al. But instead of concocting a cumbersome 8-legged costume, Al the Octopus became the first and only inanimate mascot in the NHL. And since it now takes 16 wins to capture the Cup, 2 versions of Al are raised to the rafters every spring, if Detroit makes the playoffs. Decades before Al, another Marine mascot made his way to the NHL, but this one was very much alive. For a while, anyway. Penguin Pete, an actual penguin on loan from the Pittsburgh Aqua Zoo, joined the team on October 19, 1968. A month later, Pete was diagnosed with pneumonia and died. Looking back, it probably wasn't wise to bring an exotic live animal into a hockey arena in the first place, but that didn't stop the team from trying again. In 1971, they were loaned a second penguin, nicknamed Repeat. Dark humor aside, this one survived and ultimately retired at the end of the season. The Penguins stayed out of the mascot fray for the next couple of decades, until their 1992 rebrand, which included the arrival of Iceburgh, their first costumed character. His name is a blend of the words ice and Pittsburgh, and has the added benefit of sounding like Iceberg. The anthropomorphic penguin even made a star turn in the film Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme back in 1995. But don't get the wrong idea here. I can't imagine Iceberg has anything against the mussels from Brussels. The suit was just stolen by a terrorist, that's all. Iceburgh also has a little brother named Tux, who serves as the mascot for the Pens AHL affiliate. In 2013, Tux and his performer Chad Spencer were featured in the docuseries Behind the Mask, a must-watch for mascot fans. Anyway, we still seem to be on the hunt for the first true mascot in the NHL. It wasn't Harvey, the winger beat him to the punch, and I'm not sure Detroit's Octopus or Penguin Pete count in the traditional sense, but I think I know where it all really started, just on the other side of Pennsylvania. November 13th, 1978. Taking inspiration from the new Philly Fanatic, the Flyers introduced a mascot of their own, known simply as Slapshot. Of course, this furry aviator did not last, disappearing after only a single season. Then, decades later, the Flyers made possibly the biggest mascot splash of our time. He's a 7-foot orange furball with unblinking googly eyes, but you know him as Gritty. He made an auspicious debut on September 24th, 2018 at the Please Touch Museum, the irony being Gritty is probably the last thing you'd ever want to touch. His unforgettable appearance was the brainchild of Brian Allen of Flyland Designs, approached by the team in 2016 to start developing a new mascot. He put a lot of designs on paper, but it was a bug-eyed blob that the team kept coming back to. This concept artwork shows Brian considered giving him a tail and naming him Benny, but after hearing so much talk about the grit of Flyers teams over the years, they eventually decided it had to be Gritty. His launch met with mixed reaction, but Gritty soon became one of the most loved and well-known mascots in all of sports. And while he may be new on the scene, he's not the NHL's newest mascot. Not anymore. Enter Buoy. On October 1st, 2022, the blue-haired sea troll of Puget Sound descended into the depths of Climate Pledge Arena, arriving in time for the Seattle Kraken's sophomore season. And you could say he brought a bit of luck, seeing the team off to its first ever playoff appearance, where they knocked off the defending champs in the first round. Buoy is said to be the nephew of Seattle's famous Fremont Troll, a larger-than-life sculpture beneath the Fremont Bridge. He wears a number 0 jersey, has a squeaky nose, a pot belly, and an anchor for an earring. But perhaps the most common question fans ask about Seattle's mascot is, why isn't it a Kraken? The team's answer is simple. No one knows what a Kraken actually looks like. We've only ever gotten fleeting glimpses of a shadowy tentacle and a menacing red eye. On the other hand, if you've ever peeked behind Buoy's ear, you may have noticed a mysterious tentacle. Has he actually encountered a Kraken? If so, he could be the world's only known survivor. But Buoy's signature feature might just be his removable tooth, which he demonstrated amusingly alongside Kraken play-by-play announcer John Forsland, a little something the two found they have in common. From Harvey to Buoy, there is a long history of mascots here. And what we've established is that while Harvey was not the NHL's first mascot, he does seem to be its longest running. So, who would be second on the list? To find out, we'll take another trip back to the 1980s. This is Sabretooth. Developed by a couple of Buffalo Sabres PR staffers, the toothy tiger made his debut for the 1988 season and has been cheering on his team ever since. But he has branched out on occasion. During the 90s, he pulled double duty as mascot for the Buffalo Bandits lacrosse team, that is before his buddy Rax came along. And it's been said that a tiger can't change his stripes, though clearly whoever said that never met Sabretooth. Back when the Sabres wore red and black, so did he. These days, though, he just changes his jersey for throwback nights. Sabretooth wears a paw print in place of a number on the back of his jersey and has a very close relative down south. A decade after Sabretooth arrived on the scene, the Nashville Predators joined the party with a Sabretooth tiger mascot of their own, albeit with a bit more historical significance. The story goes like this. Way back in 1971, during construction of a downtown skyscraper, workers made an amazing archaeological discovery. Deep beneath the city, they found the fossilized skeleton of a prehistoric predator. This real-life saber-toothed tiger inspired the name and logo for that new NHL team in 1998, along with this guy. His name is Gnash. That's Nash with a G, a play on the name of the city, of course, and the angry grinding of teeth. Like many NHL mascots, he wears jersey number 00, since no other members of his team would be allowed to. Gnash was one of many inaugural season mascot launches during the NHL's 1990s expansion. These new clubs were not about to be left out of the mascot madness sweeping across pro sports. Next time on Mascot Mayhem. The 90s usher in a mascot boom with new characters from coast to coast. Thanks for watching episode 1. This series will continue, so leave a like and then subscribe to the Icethetics channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode drop. That's all for now. See you next time.